This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 1014, The Habits of Happiness by Babauta of Zen Habits, and&nbsp, and I'm your very own personal narrator, Justin Malik, reading to you from some amazing blogs and books sometimes to help you optimize your life. Today's post comes from Leo of Zen Habits, an author that is narrated across all 5 of our narration shows. He writes about everything pretty much, and actually one of the very first authors I ever narrated starting almost 3 years ago. And before we get to his post, most job boards overwhelm you with tons of the wrong resumes. Not smart, but ZipRecruiter finds the right people for you and actively invites them to apply. Smart. Try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/old. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now let's get right to it as we optimize your life. The Habits of Happiness by Babauta of Zen Habits, and&nbsp. I'm not one who believes you can be happy all the time, but I've learned you can be happy much of the time. And that's not something that depends on how your day is going or how others treat you. It depends on what you do on a regular basis. I remember being unhappy most days at one point in my life. It wasn't because I hated the people in my life. I had a lovely wife, great kids, other wonderful family members, and friends. It was because I was unhappy with myself, and that caused growing debt problems, unhappiness with my job, health problems, and more. I felt like I couldn't change any of that. Then one day I sat down and made a list. I make a lot of lists. It's one of my favorite habits, but this list seemed to have a magical power. It was a list of the things I was grateful for. Amazingly, there were a lot of things on the list, from things about my wife, kids, relatives, and friends, to things about my job, about nature around me, about my life. This list was magical because I went from feeling a bit depressed about everything and hopeless and helpless to much happier. My mindset shifted from the things I didn't like or didn't have to the things I was really happy I had, and I was in control. Since then, I've experimented with a number of habits and have found a couple things to be true. Number 1, a handful of activities can actually make you happy. Number 2, if you incorporate them into your life on a regular basis, make them into habits, you'll be happier regularly. And those might seem to be small realizations, but actually they're huge. The habits that make you happy. So what habits make you happy? Try doing these on a daily basis and see if you get the same results. Number 1, list 3 good things. Eva and I started a daily evening ritual at about 7 p.m. each day where we take a moment to tell each other 3 good things about our day. We didn't invent this, but it serves as at least one time in your day when you focus on what you're grateful for. This can create a mental habit of gratitude that you can use other times in your day when you're focused on the things that you don't like or have. When you feel this, think about something you do have that you love. Find a way to be grateful, and you're happier. Number 2, help someone. When we focus on ourselves and the woeful state of our lives, we are self-centered. This shrinks the world to one little place with one little unhappy person. But what if we can expand that worldview and expand our heart to include at least one other person, maybe even a few others? Then we see that others are suffering too, even if that just means they're stressed out. Then we can reach out and do something to reduce their stress, put a smile on their face, make their lives easier. Help at least one person each day, and you'll find your entire perspective shifted. Number 3, meditate. I've called this the fundamental habit because it affects everything else. Meditate for just 2 minutes a day, and you'll create a habit that will allow you to notice your thoughts throughout the rest of the day. That'll help you to be more present. Unhappiness comes from not being present. That'll help you notice the source of anxiety and distraction. That's a lot that can be accomplished in 2 minutes. Sit every morning when you wake and just notice your body and then your breath. Notice when your mind wanders and gently return to your breath. You become the watcher of your mind and you'll learn some useful things, I promise. And number 4, exercise. Everyone knows you should exercise, so I'm not going to belabor this point, but it really does make you happier, both in the moment of exercise, I'm exerting myself, I'm alive, and throughout the rest of the day. Exercise lightly if you're not in the habit yet, and just for a few minutes a day to start out. Who doesn't have a few minutes a day? If you don't, you need to loosen up your schedule a bit. There are a number of other habits that also help: mindful eating, drinking tea, doing yoga, socializing with others. But these incorporate meditation. They're more active forms of meditation, and exercise and helping others, and gratitude if you're doing it right. So I wanted to list the most basic habits, and then you can expand to other areas. How do you form these habits? One at a time, starting as small as possible with some social accountability. Set these habits in motion. You'll notice yourself becoming more present, more grateful, and more other-focused. The shift that results is nothing short of a miracle. You just listened to the post titled The Habits of Happiness by Leo Babauta of Zen Habits, and&nbsp. Thank you again to ZipRecruiter. You know what's not smart? Making the lottery the centerpiece of your retirement plan. But you know what is smart? Going to ZipRecruiter.com/old to hire the right person. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you, it finds them for you. Its powerful matching technology scans thousands of resumes, identifies people with the right skills, education, and experience for your job, and actively invites them to apply, so you get qualified candidates fast. That's why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the US. This rating comes from hiring sites on Trustpilot with over 1,000 reviews. And right now, my listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/old. That's ZipRecruiter.com/old, ZipRecruiter.com/old. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And I do want to mention that today's the big day that a full season of our newest podcast goes live. The show is called Date Us and features listeners of this show who are looking for dates. You can listen to their stories and view their full profile online after listening. I think I'm actually going to throw in a bonus episode today that features one of the episodes. So I guess I'll leave it at that, and you can hear the bonus episode right after this one. So with that, please continue listening through to the bonus episode, and I'll be back with another reading for you in the Friday show tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.